Baldur's Gate 3 has been unanimously voted 2023's Game of the Year, and up until just a few patches ago, Tactician Mode was the true test of one's abilities in the game. Changes to the game, including tougher enemies with higher base stats and resistances, as well as higher resource costs like shop prices and long rest requirements, have led to a less than 3% completion rate of Tactician Mode on Steam. With all of this in mind, I have a confession to make. I've never beaten a game on that game's hardest difficulty. Until today. I'm not only going to beat Baldur's Gate 3 on Tactician difficulty, I'm going to beat every boss, complete every quest I know of, and I'm going to attempt to do so without letting anyone stay down or dead at the end of a fight. We will get to why I say attempt later. Now, there is an obvious elephant in the room. Honor Mode. This playthrough was completed before Honor Mode was released, and less than 3% of Steam players who have played the game have beaten Tactician Mode, so I'm still counting this. If you don't, sue me, but do so in the comments, please. I'm going to separate this playthrough into 4 parts. Yes, I know there are 3 acts, but the game flows much better in my eyes in 4 parts, and I will break down key goals I aim to achieve in each part for you to track my progress on where we stand. Before we get much further, I want to stop and thank you all for watching my first serious attempt at content creation, and if you appreciate my work, please subscribe below. Hit the like button and let me know what I missed in the comments section, because we all know I was bound to miss something.
Hi, my name is LIONHEARTZ and I'm the editor of this video as well as Wolfmus' actual brother. Just wanted to take a second here and let you guys know that the background footage you're going to be seeing here does have some FPS drops. Unfortunately, Wolfmus ran into some issues with OBS that he did not realize till pretty late into the recording, and if you played Baldur's Gate 3 at all, these playthroughs are very long. And it was one of those things that was kind of way too deep to go back and redo that footage. So if you see FPS drops, don't be alarmed. It's not your phone finally dying on you or your graphics card being on fire. Sorry about that. So please remain calm, keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle, strap in, and let's get on with the rest of the commentary. Also, hey, just between you and me, I do my own little thing on YouTube as well. Maybe you want to check that out in the link down below. Check me out on Twitch as well, maybe, support me. This was a monster video to edit, a little bit of appreciation for the editors, please. Alright, back to the video.
With all that out of the way, let's hop right in with our character creation, and I feel there's only one correct choice here. The Dark Urge. And what is the true Dark Urge we all hold deep inside? That's right, fast food. KFC has come to Baldur this gate, and the Colonel is handing out a special monk blend of herbs and spices. With our characters set, let's set the goals for part 1. We aim to kill Commander Zulk, gather our allies, free Withers, kill the Spider Matriarch, save the Grove, and clear the Goblin camp. The first section of the game finds us aboard an Illithid ship trying to escape, and most of this time is extremely uneventful. Do take note that we stop to free, and then lobotomize us, as well as we continue the Colonel's capitalist tendencies of taking any riches he can get his grubby hands on. We will live the true kleptomanic lifestyle you know he would, so if you see something on the ground, assume I went and picked it up. Continuing forward, we team up with Lae'zel, free Shadowheart, and make our way to the control room, where we find Commander Xalk fighting an Illithid with the objective being to reach the control panel ahead, while the Illithid holds Xalk off. Fuck that, Xalk has the blade I want, and we aren't leaving without it. But this fight quickly ends up not going my way, and I decide to command drop the blade from Xalk using Shadowheart and abort mission to get the hell out of there. Once out, we get a cutscene involving everyone's worst nightmare of falling in our sleep only to land on our best dream of waking up on a beach near an unconscious woman. Pause. We wake up Shadowheart, tell her we aren't a creepy, money-hungry psychopath, and she somehow agrees? I'm more scared of her at this point than us. Level 2 acquired. We loot our way across the beach and through the remains of the Illithid ship, and run into our first fight on solid land, some intellect devourers. And this is where I started to doubt my ability to complete this video. These guys hit like tanks, and I feel extremely weak. I understand I'm only level 2, but I am not confident at this point that I am capable of doing this. I continue through the wreckage, picking up Astarion, Lae'zel, and Gale, before making our way to the Emerald Grove. After clearing the Grove front gate, we make our way in, connect with Zevlor, who tells us Kagha's a bitch, and then add Will to the group before meeting Lady Ethel, Dammon, and Roland. We move to the prison area and free Zaza, only to be attacked by her cohorts. Level 3 acquired.
Nice.
We head to the Emerald Grove shore and find Murkon being lured to his death by a group of harpies and manage to save him before continuing on to Kaga. Kaga is in fact everything Zevlor warned us about, and tells us to get rid of the tieflings or she will for us after we stop her from murdering a literal child. We connect with Nettie the healer, who tells us she's not that great of a healer, and we need to find Halsin. We leave the area and follow Murkon's instructions to Mole's hideout, who thanks us for saving Murkon, then asks us to steal the Emerald Grove's icon. First major mistake. This is not something we can take without angering everyone in the Grove, so I will not be doing this quest. One of the few I know I will not complete going into this game. We make our way back to Zevlor, who reaffirms we really need to find Halsin, and we agree to do what we can about the goblin camp nearby to save the tieflings. Taking the ladder out of Zevlor's area, we can just barely make it across the waterfall basin to our last major part of the group. Karlach. With Karlach in the group, I then spend a very uncomfortable amount of time trying to climb my way back up the waterfall before finally realizing I can just warp out. I am in fact that dumb, and this will not be the last time you realize this. I apologize in advance. Jack, my editor, also says hi. Hi, Jack. Back on the path of righteousness, with our team of Karlach, Shadowheart, and Lae'zel formed, we make our way back to the sealed tomb and ambush the ambushing tomb raiders, who have a very suspicious looking barrel in the center of them. Huh, that was pretty effective. Gonna have to remember that. We continue through the tomb and make it past the skeletons to awaken the man, the legend, Withers himself. Withers is going to be extremely useful to us later in the game, but for now, I just want to see his pretty face in my camp more. After clearing Withers' tomb, we move over to a couple grieving over their fallen comrade. I tell them to stop being pussies and hunt down the savage beast that beat their better half, and for some reason they agree. Again, I'm as shocked as you are. They track down the owlbear to its lair where we use them as bait to murder the mother, orphaning the child. We will rectify that later. Head up the hill from the owlbear, we find the best boy, Scratch, protecting the body of his master, and we let him know he'll always have a home with us. Past the pig with its blood drained, God, I wish it was me, we find the blighted village and take advantage of an XP opportunity. By talking our way out of the ambush, we can get XP for the encounter, then kill the ambushers to get XP for the fight, and we will utilize this whenever possible. We systematically work our way through the village, killing the goblins, saving the gnome, and convincing the ogres to work for us if we pay them after they help, which we definitely won't be doing. We also sidetrack under the bar to get the necromancy of Thay, level 4 acquired. We also get our first Dark Urge cutscene where Alfira joins our team officially for less than a night. Honestly, didn't expect that to happen at all. At this point, I make the decision to cross the bridge and kill the minions of Tyr to continue Will and Karlach's quest lines, then enter the Susser Forge. We are definitely renaming this to the Sussy Forge. We pick up the quest to get the Sussy Bark, then climb through a hole in the Sussy Wall to enter the Sussy Spider Cave. Okay, I'll stop. By entering through the upper hole instead of the breakable wall, we get to fight the spiders and ettercaps from above them, which makes this fight much easier. Then we hit the first major roadblock for this run, the Spider Matriarch. Not only does the Matriarch do stupid damage, but the spiderlings she spawns can all do 5 to 10 a round and will knock you out extremely quickly. My game plan for this is to knock the Matriarch off her web at the start of the fight to do around 30 to 50 damage before she can even react, then utilize the Ogre Trio to do as much damage as possible. But there is a complication here. I'm not paying these ogres, so I need to make sure the ogres don't win and none of my members are knocked down or dead by the time the fight ends. It took a lot of time and patience, but ogres down, Matriarch down, Thay Amethyst picked up, and we are out of the Sussy Forge for now. After reading the Necromancy of Thay, Part 1, we learn that Gale eats leather. I'm really not amused, and Astarion eats me. I am very amused. Team rested, Astarion happy, me drained, let's hit the goblin camp. Since we saved Zaza, we get free entrance and find fucking Valo doing slam poetry. Honestly, I should just leave him to die, but I think some time in the break will do him better. We make our way through the camp to Minthara, who we quickly agree to give the Emerald Grove to. Wait, If we side with Minthara, we can still save the Emerald Grove in a fight in front of the Grove Gate. By doing that, we still get to fight everyone at the camp, with the addition of all the goblins in the raid, giving us bonus XP for this. Stonks. With the plan in place, we go down to the prison to save Bearson, then begrudgingly save Valo, then get whipped for fun. Don't judge me, I don't appreciate it. We take a long rest before the big fight, and Lae'zel is seemingly really jealous that Astarion sucked me and not her. Get in line, bitch. But it is kinda hot how she held that blade. Later. Now for the big fight. We need to be really careful, methodical, tactical, and we just blow her to the moon. Minthara down, time for the second bomb. I really like explosions. FBI, ignore this. Because this will not be the last time I do it. Raid is done, we are victorious, giving me my goddamn rewards, and fuck you, Kaga. Get punished for being a bitch. At the after party, we convince our one true love Karlach we're definitely not a whore, and she should be with me. And it works? Seriously, are all my companions psychopaths? I am clearly damaged goods. Stop agreeing with me. Anyway, I need one-on-one time with mommy. Everyone go home. Now. After my night in heaven, we convince Halsin that we got good vibes together, and he should rock with us for a bit. Then we make our way back to the goblin camp, and systematically kill every bastard in there, including the owlbear. Wait. Jesus, that was too close. I had to run a marathon to get the fight to auto end without killing the cub, and I regret absolutely nothing. My two baby boys, Scratch and Scritch, are safe. For now. We continue forward and kill the goblin princess, then draw Razglin, and we are officially finished with part 1. God, this game is so long, but I absolutely love it, and I hope you're enjoying it so far, because we've got 3 more of these motherfuckers, so let's keep going with part 2. In part 2, our goals are as follows. We need to clear the Gith Kresh, clear the swamp, clear the Arcane Tower, clear the Adamantine Forge, and clear the Grim Forge. We kick off part 2 with a pretty boring merchant run post-Goblin Camp, and you might notice I have a lot of supplies. I'm a bit of a hoarder. Yes, it's unhealthy, but I'd rather be prepared than not, so don't judge. We head back across the village bridge to meet Voss, who tells us we must go to the Githyanki Kresh to report our findings. We delay that by heading to the Joaquin's Rest, where we help the Harpers free their leader Floric, level 5 acquired. Floric asks us to free more of her Harpers at Moonrise Towers, and while I'm already planning on heading there, I don't appreciate her tone. We continue over through Joaquin's Rest to the hidden Zentarum hideout, stopping to dap up the strange cow on the way. Karlach, at this point in our relationship, decides we need to wait until she can physically touch me, and I'm free to do whatever I want until then, which I happily do with new mommy Lae'zel, who wants me as a pet. Rough. Continuing forward, we meet with the Zentarum leader, who asks us to save her lost goods, and I agree, while eyeing her yet-to-be-lost explosives. I'll be back for those later. We continue down the road from Joaquin's Rest, following the trail of blood and gore, to stumble across a horde of gnolls attacking some Zentarum workers, and I beg the question, who's a good boy? It turns out Flind is, and he agrees to help us kill the other gnolls, and himself. Nice. Goods acquired, sans Zentarum workers. They were already dead when I found them. Wink. We return to the hideout, collect the reward, and continue eyeing the explosives as we make our way towards the mountain pass. God, the Death Shepherds here suck. I'm really glad we only fight them a few times. We grab Elminster and drag him to the camp to evolve Kale so he stops eating my goddamn items, then we kick him back to the corner to think about his actions. We continue towards the Kresh and come across Lady Esther, who really wants us to get a Githyanki egg for her, but she's giving me weird vibes. Karlach then uses her muscles to get the trolley to work, we use our weapons to clear out the outside of the Kresh, I use the ceremonial weapons to gain the Dawnmaster crest from the puzzle, and Lae'zel uses her pet again. I'm a good boy. After a quick rest, we get Scritch at the camp, and all is well in the world with our 3 pets in the camp. Scratch, the dog, Scritch, the owlbear, and me, Lae'zel's pet. We finally enter the Kresh, and while it's nice, I think there are a few renovations we can do. We make our way to the lab of Gustil Stornagos, who believes she can extract the illithid tadpole from us, but we must send Lae'zel away, or she'll be extremely unhappy with us for doing that instead of her. With Will in the party, we enter the Zayathesk and quickly exit it better than before. Uno reverse card activated. Gustil runs off, and Lae'zel believes she tampered with the Zayathesk, so all is well in the world. Time for the renovations. Bomb 1 goes really well. Bomb 2 goes a little less well. We take a quick rest, and then we continue. Wait. No, don't tell me they got hurt. Don't you Oh, okay, we're good. Scratch and Scritch are fine. Anyways, we get back to the bombing, and we do a quick merchant run, as we're covered in the remains of the merchant's comrades, only to bomb her right after. Yes, I know, this is a good playthrough. Don't judge me. We blow our way through the Kresh all the way to Chirai Wargaz, who tells us to choose the Githyanki or our Dream Guardian. And seeing as I'm covered in the remains of the Githyanki, I think he knows the choice we'll make. Fuck the Githyanki. Lae'zel is compared to agree with her pet, level 6 acquired. With the Chirai dead and our Dream Guardian saved, we make our way to the hidden area of the Kresh and use the Dawnmaster crest that we got from the puzzle earlier to gain access to the Blood of Lathander. Then we proceed to our final bombing of the Kresh, which actually fails? Well, that's gotta be a fluke. That definitely won't ever happen again. With the bombing done, we head into the hatchery and have a real fight for the first time, and it goes as bad as well as you would expect. But we make it work and grab the Githyanki egg. Returning to Lady Esther, we decide we're better off without her and keep the egg for ourselves. Long live the Colonel. Githyanki Kresh, clear. Mountain Pass, clear. Time to head south, where we find a Lady Ethel being not so ladylike and teleporting away from 2 men interrogating her over a missing young woman. We follow the stench of haggis into a nice, peaceful meadow turned into a nicer, more peaceful swamp. I clear the swamp of its inhabitants, then meet up with Gandrel, who is looking for a vampire named Asterion. Hey, I have one of those. And they're mine. You can't have it. Yeah. Continuing forward, I find the lady herself, Ethel, and Marlene. Fuck Marlene. I tell Ethel she can't keep Marlene, and she gets upset and goes to leave. But before she does, I decide to sell to her, as any reasonable businessman would, then break her fireplace, which is apparently frowned upon in this establishment. Shocker, Ethel's a hag. Apologies for the rude comment. She's surely a wonderful lady. We make our way into Ethel's cave, pause, then save Marlene by making Ethel flee. We go to Marlene for praise, admiration, and a reward for saving her, and she's suddenly mad at us for saving her from the hag? Never mind, we didn't save Marlene. We were too late to stop the hag's evil plans. Such a shame, really. Swamp, clear. Time for the Underdark. We pass through the Goblin Princess's back door, pause, and through the Sharon puzzle door down to the Underdark. Here, we get into our first spectator fight, which is one of the main reasons I did the Mountain Pass first. This fight is terrible underleveled, but currently it isn't too bad. And we take it out while managing to save Dorn, who tells us about a forge everyone wants to reach. We make our way through the Underdark from there to the Arcane Tower, where we collect some specific ingredients for a future quest, a Sussy Bloom to repair the Arcane Elevator, and we take the elevator up to reach Bernard, the mech at the top of the tower. Bernard is nice, but I can't miss an opportunity for a fight, and that is a big mistake. This fight is much harder than I was expecting, and I barely make it out with my life. Arcane Tower? Barely cleared. Continuing on, we move over to the Sussy tree, yes, Sussy's back, and we deal with the horror chickens, before saving the mushroom farmer. Mission failed. I then spend a very long and uncomfortable amount of time looking for the Sussy bark. I really am a moron. I make my way to Ebonlink encampment and let Dareth know her husband died tragically in that mushroom fire, and she's apparently happy? Mission not failed, I guess. I meet Blurg and Omelun, who want me to collect the quest ingredients from earlier, and they won't accept them. Then I go to sell to Dareth, and suddenly the quest is updated? I don't understand, but mission complete. I meet the Mycilid colony leader, who asks me to bring him Nir's head, and I reply, who? With the core area of the Underdark mostly cleared, I return to the Sussy Forge and craft the Sussy Dagger, which gets way less screen time than this joke deserved. I'm sorry. Back to the Underdark, we head for the beach from the Arcane Tower side, which makes this fight significantly easier, as you can pick off the leader before he summons all of the dead bodies. Fight done, ship acquired, I am the captain now, and off we go to nowhere, I guess. How do we just know where we're going? Thank God we get picked up by some dweggers who let us know Nier needs help, and again I reply, who? So we reach the Grimforge, and obviously we head straight to Nier. No, fuck Nier. We head around the back of the Grimforge and up the scaffolding to the hidden area of the Adamantine Forge, collecting the haunted necklace along the way for a quest. We reach the forge itself, where attempting to use it starts the boss fight for Grim, who is clearly lost and at the wrong forge. First fight goes okay, but I get a stupid bug that stops me from picking up health potions I accidentally dropped on the ground, which led to us finishing the fight with the Colonel and Shadowheart still downed, and they would have been up if I could have picked the potions up and used them. That's extremely frustrating and I'm not okay with it. So we reload the fight, and the second time goes much smoother. Grim is dead, and the Adamantine Forge is clear. With that out of the way, we return back to the now Grimless Forge, where we finally figure out who Nier is. A cunt. We get told that we can find a Dwerger who stole some precious rune powder that we can use to free the trapped Nier, and start to chase after them, killing some slime along the way. Level 7 acquired. We find the Dwerger, steal the vial and barrel of rune powder, then kill the thief for good measure. That can only be one good rogue. With the explosives in hand, we make our way back to the Zentarum hideout. You thought I was going back to Nier. I want my goddamn explosives, and I'll kill every last one of you to get it in here. Oh hey, and we freed an artist. Quest updated, I guess. I then hit each of the key merchants to get some more supplies, and in the process I sell some unique items that I end up regretting later, unfortunately. Back to the Grimless Forge, I decide that with the explosives I'm about to use, I don't want to risk killing and losing my key team members, so I tag in Will, Gale, and Asterion, then line up the normal barrels for the fight. I'll be saving the rune powder for another day. After positioning everyone as far away as I can, I use some minor explosions to blow apart the rubble and free Nier, allowing him to walk forward to the group without being there to start a dialogue. While he's randomly talking, I realize he's not in the right position for the explosions to happen, and the fight starts after the dialogue finishes, causing us to go into the fight without being ready. Fortunately for us, Nier climbs up the ladder after us, then jumps into the center of the explosives for no reason. It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out. After the explosion plays out exactly as you thought it would, everyone gets blown backwards, including Nier, into a pit of lava. The rest of the fight is easy, but after Nier dies, I get a quest update for the Mycelid colony telling me I failed to bring him his head. Excuse me, his head's right here. I can even bring you his whole body out of the lava. Give me my goddamn reward. Fuck it. I'm calling this quest complete. Fuck you, game. Fight me in the comments. Grimforge clear. We proceed down the elevator to the Shadowland, where we save some Harpers who know of a safe haven called the Last Light Inn. A fitting name indeed, thus bringing part 2 to a close. We're halfway there, y'all, and I just want to do a quick check-in. You doing okay? Did you get a good night's sleep? I know you haven't drank enough water today. Go get a drink and have a great rest of your day, okay? I'm proud of you. Now, let's finish this game. Part 3 brings a new set of goals. We need to reach the Moonrise Tower, save the refugees, figure out who he is, kill the Thorms, cure the curse, save Dame, kill Ketherick, and reach Rivington. We enter Part 3 following the Harpers to the Last Light Inn, where we are held at knife point by the second old hag of the game, Jaheira. She just doesn't see the giant main character sign I carry around over my head, apparently. Mole steps up for us. Thanks, G. We get the pass to come save their sorry asses, and we're good to move into the camp. We have a lot of people to update with here, so let's go down the list. We meet up with Damon and continue Karlach's quest with all the Infernal Iron we've stolen. I mean found, so far. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time. We finally made it. I can touch mommy. God is good every day, and every day God is good. I'm going to have trouble walking soon, and I have never been more excited. Along the way, we see the strange ox again, and Moo Moo isn't really going to cut it this time. And he is definitely not a real ox. Not a real ox. We meet back up with Floric, who continues to say I must save her people in Moonrise Towers while continuing to do nothing to help them herself. It's actually kind of wild. We meet up with Art and find out Halsin would like to have a chat with the coma patient. A quick rest gives us Will, Asterion, Halsin, and our Dream Guardian quest updates, and in the morning we bring Halsin to Art to hear his mumbling. We continue forward, getting updates with Jaheira, Mole, Roland, and Raphael, then make our way up to Isabel. Isabel makes very short work of everything we need to talk about and gives us the blessing I want, making her my favorite character at this point. And then we are ambushed by Marcus, a fallen harper. He really chose the wrong day to attack, so we send him quickly to the Shadow Realm, then do a series of check-ins and merchant purchases that lead to a long rest where our minion gives us our newest mission, if we choose to accept it, to murder my new favorite character. Which, nah fam, we're definitely not going to do it. You're falling further and further down the totem pole right now. Continuing forward, we make plans for an ambush on some absolutists with the Harpers, then head out into the Shadowland. We backtrack a bit and head up the mountainside to find a really weird, yet hot, gentleman fucking with a body. Pause. The gentleman goes by He Who Was, and asks us for help punishing this sinner by getting a ledger from a bar. I don't really get how that would help you, but do you, King? We catch up to the ambusher and spring the trap, which goes miserably. The fight sucks and takes way too long, but I don't really care. Why? Because after one more long rest, I'm finally getting Karlach in bed with me, baby. Just gotta go to bed real quick, and I get woken up by none other than Lae'zel? And I sleep with Lae'zel again? And now Karlach is mad with me? No. We're fixing this. Revert the save, spring the trap again, and just blow the fuckers to Timbuktu. Tell Lae'zel I'm a pet no longer, and she is like, meh, wasn't that great anyway. We're chill. Now it's mommy time, and I get woken up this time by Will? I'm gonna start creating atrocities if you don't stop playing with me, game. This is not okay. We will let it play out for now, as we continue to the heavier curse area, running into a boy named Oliver, who wants to play hide and seek. Then we find Roland, trying to be the hero, which he ain't, and we send him back to the Last Light Inn with his tail between his legs. We continue on the northern outskirts of the cursed area, and make a beeline straight for the Moonrise Tower, where we meet Ketherick, who is clearly just over everyone's shit, and honestly, I can't blame him. We also meet Krell here, who obviously wants me, but, you know, I already have too many dominant women in my life, as you can see. With our relationship status set, Krell sends me to help Balthazar. We meet up with the various Moonrise Tower merchants who are all pretty alright people with wonderful lives ahead of them. They should really look into real estate. We meet the Knoll owner and decide they are now my Knolls. Turns out they were before as well. Neat. We find out something is in the walls, definitely not foreshadowing. Then we meet Araj, who really wants to be drained by Asterion. Again I say, he's mine, and you can't have him. Yeah. With everyone talked to, I decide to make myself at home and do some renovations before heading down to the prisons to save all of the captives. We meet up with Wolbrin, who says the warden has his hammer. Big mistake, he loves his hammer. Warden dead. It wasn't my stealthiest kill though, so I end up killing all the prison guards as well, then sneak the prisoners out to a perfectly placed boat behind a wall, and out of the tower we go. We make it back to the inn where we get a cutscene saying everyone must get in line and be inspected. And what is very cool about this game is that if you actually wait outside with them, you'll watch the NPC go one by one down the line actually checking them, and then release them up to the top. And if you had done a long rest or anything and left at this point, you would have just found all the characters in the bar. But if you watch them, they actually go through this process. The game's amazing, and I just can't thank Larian Studios enough. You guys did an amazing job with this game. We talk with the various free prisoners and agree to meet up with most of them in Baldur's Gate after I saved the fucking day. Again. Level 8 acquired. Back into the fray we go, and we have some killing to do. The Toll Keeper is first on our list. She wants money, I want money. We were really destined to have this fight, and I'm destined to win. This is really the start of us no longer having money issues as well. We then head to the bar and remind the barkeeper why you don't play with the Colonel when it comes to food and drink.
Let it be known, the god of
chicken,
good for two things,
beating Baldur's Gate 3,
and pissing me!
We drink the barkeep under the table, and under the dirt then collect the ledger for He Who Was. Take a quick rest, and finally, we have sex with Karlach. Yes! 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 Anyway, moving on. Life's greatest moments are fleeting, and I must continue on my Sigma grind set into the Sharan challenges. It's also at this point that you find out that the graceful cloth chess piece that gives you the Cat's Grace passive is just completely broken for any dexterity-based ability or feat. I mean, all of these challenges, any lockpicking, it's all so easy from here moving forward. We find Arabella here. The girl bitch Kaga tried to murder, and she's now a fuck-mothering druid. Hell yeah, kid, rock on. But she does need our help to find her parents. Bad news, parents are dead, and I'll have to kill everyone in this hospital for putting her through this, because that is not okay. The last of the Thorm underlings falls, and we find a loot for the Art Halsin questline. We return the ledger to He Who Was, then help him stab himself. You're welcome, I guess? He Who Was no match for who I am.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Quest complete. We then head back to the inn and wake up Art, who mentions a boy in a different plane that Halsin remembers. We take a long rest, and we get Halsin and Arabella quest updates, and we fuck Karlach again. Then Halsin mentions wanting to go in a hole for a boy, and my character is really not disturbed by this. I'm really confused. We protect Halsin's hole while he hunts for the boy.
What?
And this fight was arguably in the top 5 most difficult of this playthrough with the sheer volume of enemies. But we get it done, and Halsin returns with the boy in hand. Now back to the murder spree. We head northwest of the bar to a Githyanki ambush and remind them of the atrocities we committed in the Gith Kresh. We move eastward, clearing the morgue, then the fishman, before reaching the outside of the Sharan temple, where Raphael awaits us. Raphael warns us of a great evil down below, which is really weird given information we gain later on, but we take his warning into consideration before continuing on to do exactly what we already planned to do: murder. We enter the temple and clear the door puzzle, which is just stupid. Why is this a thing? Before heading off track to a side area where a really cool enemy design, the Cloaker, is. We kill the Cloaker and speak with some rats who warn us to leave them alone or there will be consequences. But ain't no rat gonna stop me from my God-given right. We get back on track and meet up with Balthazar, who tells us to clear the path to the center of the temple, to the source of Kethric's immortality, and we agree on the condition that he gives us a bell to summon his swole brother that we definitely won't murder. I unfortunately forgot to record most of the Sharan challenges, including collecting the Spear of Night, as well as the second encounter with the rats that led to me killing the leader of the rats himself. This ultimately was actually a big mistake that we will get to in approximately 15 seconds. You see, the last item we need to reach the core of the Sharan temple is found protected by a demon by the name of Yrgir. And if you talk to Yrgir, he would normally give you an option to kill off all of his underlings to make it more of a challenge for him to fight us. But since we killed the Rat Man, he meets up with Raphael and confirms his long-awaited agreement with Raphael is finally complete and he can leave. So Raphael and Yrgir leave together and I don't get the XP of the fight. Fuck that. I want the experience for the full fight, so I reload a save and attack the demon's minions to start the fight immediately. This fight is going great. We kill all the minions, and we use Flesh, Balthazar's brother, and get him killed as well, which is really no skin off my back. But at the very end, I just need to press heal on Shadowheart, then we get to last hit Yrgir and move on. But I hit end turn by accident. Yrgir blasts us, killing himself in the process, and downs Shadowheart. And she would have lived if I hadn't hit end turned. I'm not reloading this fight. I feel like this is the one gimme I deserve. Shadowheart should have lived through that fight, and you can fight me on it in the comments. Level 9 acquired. We reclass at this point to 6 Monk and 3 Rogue. Now that the Sharan Temple core is open to us, we need to clear up the final quests from the first 3 parts, as this is a place of no return. We must return to Oliver for a final confrontation before convincing the 2 boys to rejoin as one. Halsin will take it from here, but believes we might have done some real good for the Cursed Land, and for that reason, we should vote the Colonel to be the next mayor. Look at his community action. We do a last-minute run to every merchant and buy anything I can think of as useful before heading back to Balthasar's room and splattering him across the wall. I have no patience at this point, and I'm just over everyone's shit. With everything clear, we head for the core only to find out we don't have the Spear of Night in our inventory anymore, and I spend 10 fucking minutes going back to every merchant to figure out which one my dumbass sold it to before continuing into the weird water. We reach the core to find the daughter of Selûne herself, Dame Aelin, chained to her place by Ketheric Thorm's powers, and Shadowheart must make this choice on her own. Kill Dame and please her deity, Lady Shar, or free Dame and save the world. And you better believe I secretly had a knife to her back telling her to make the correct choice. Dame is free, she has info on Shadowheart's past, and we are off to kill Ketheric. We reach the tower, and our minion tries to convince us one more time to go kill Isabel while everyone's distracted, and I have to resist throwing his ass off the bridge at this point because he is just not having my best interests at heart. We catch up with Jaheira before doing a final speech with the gang about this big infiltration that we're about to do, and then charge forward, and instead of charging, I slowly loot all of the dead bodies around us. Again, don't judge me. Now, it's finally time we use those renovations from earlier. This tower's gonna burn, baby. At this point, I've used up all of my currently unlocked illithid powers cleaning up all these bodies, and I really should have dispersed these among my group. Something I regret later. I then head down to the prisons and deal with those Death Shepherds again, which are just horrible to fight at any level. We loot everything across the prison and fight floor before heading up the stairs and blowing Krell to the moon, joining Minthara from part 1. I have a thing for putting hot, dominant women into groups apparently. With the pathway clear, we finally reach the roof where Dame joins us to kick Ketheric's ass. But before we can seal the deal, Ketheric is saved by what I can only assume is the Absolute's tentacle itself grabbing Dame and escaping down into the depths of the underground. Jaheira catches up to us and tells us how badly she wishes she could join us in chasing Ketheric down, to which I reply, "You can! Jump down there, pussy, what's your deal?" Whatever. We do a long rest, then follow Ketheric down the hole. Once down there, we will not be able to long rest until the area is clear, so we need to be extremely careful, and by extremely careful, I mean we need to murder everyone. We free us from his cage, and despite all his rage, he decides to join us again. Then we find and save Zevlor, as well as Mizora, who still talks with such confidence despite being completely useless. We also do a really cool brain puzzle, which I thoroughly enjoyed because I'm a simpleton. I wish I could tell you I remembered to bring the brain jars that I picked up in the original illithid ship in part 1, but I of course forgot, so just forget that exists. With the area finally clear, it's time we confront Ketheric and kick his ass for good. But wait, there's more. Ketheric, chosen of Merkel, can't just be beaten on his own. No. Daddy Merkel has to come out and subsequently get his shit pushed in too. No one can handle the Colonel's special blend of 11 herbs and spices, baby. Level 10 acquired. We collect Ketheric's netherstone and return to the first floor of the tower to receive the blessings of our new comrades, Jaheira, Halsin for good this time, Isabel, and Dame Aelin. With the Moonrise Tower finally complete, we can leave the area as the Cursed Land is cured behind us, truly leaving some good in this world. A quick long rest outside of Rivington is just one too many though, and we are ambushed at night, leading to us being teleported into the Dreaming Guardian's domain that is being attacked by the Githyanki. We also find out our Dreaming Guardian is in fact the Emperor, or an Illithid himself. Honestly shocking for my first playthrough, and that he is guardian of the Githyanki Prince that he has held prisoner inside the artifact to keep us safe from the Absolute's power. For now, we choose to stay by his side, but considering the Illithids I've killed already, I'm really harboring a hatred for these tentacle boys. This brings us to the conclusion of Part 3 and swiftly into the beginning of Part 4. We are full steam ahead towards the endgame with a new set of goals. We need to cross the Wormrock Bridge, deal with the Steel Watchers, complete all companion quests, find the secret of Wormrock Prison, defeat the House of Hope, defeat Gortash, defeat Orin, and save the fucking world. We start this off by finally making it to Rivington and are greeted by Yenna. Hi Yenna. We're going to do our best to keep you from dying, so please bear with us. We continue past Yenna to the collections area, where we find a Sharan agent who warns us of the House of Grief due to Shadowheart's actions in the Sharan Temple. We wrap around the outskirt of the map, following the south to the windmill, where we find a newly turned Illithid and murder it for fun. Emperor, you better be watching. We make our way down to the beach, where we break a rock blocking the back entrance to a cave and immediately murder a group of killers inside. Ironic. Murder mystery quest begins. Continuing further down the beach, we get our Orin introduction as a shapeshifter, then fight the Stormlord's men. Jaheira's quest updated. We take a long rest and get our first Bowel dream. I really don't like it. Then we return to Rivington to protect the squatters from a dickhead of an owner, who apparently is making bombs? Explosive Toys quest started. We make our way over to the circus, where we are stopped for only a moment before being recognized as him, and allowed in under the guise of not causing any trouble. Unfortunately for them, trouble's my middle name. We meet Akabi the Djinn, who is rigging an event using a device in his beard to stop the wheel from spinning anywhere near a prize. After stealing this item from him, I win the prize, then get banished to the dinosaur plane. After subsequently destroying the dinosaur plane, I return as the Colonel, Dino Lord, Lord of all dinos, patent pending, and decide to murder Akabi as well as every other circus moron who decides to help him. No forgiveness. Another long rest, Karlach and Lae'zel quest updates occur, and I decide to finally multiclass Shadowheart into a paladin, making her much more tanky and capable of doing more than just supporting us. We continue around the back of the chapel and head downstairs to turn in the haunted necklace to its home, only to then murder the zombie. Quest complete? We make our way down to the mercantile area outside of the Wormrock Bridge, where we are interrogated by a set of Steel Watch Foundry guards. They are about to determine that I am in fact him, but one of Warburn's anarchists comes in for the save, disabling the Steel Watch guards. The rest of the human guards just let me walk by? Okay, great job guys. We make it to the brothel and meet up with the stubborn homeowner again, who mentions a fireworks shop in the lower city. Explosive Toys quest update. Then make our way to Raphael with Asterion in the group to update both of their quest lines. Raphael wants us to use the Orphic hammer he has to free the Githyanki Prince from the Emperor, and use the prince to bring Raphael the crown the Absolute is now wearing that is being controlled by the three cultist Absolute leaders, Ketheric, who's now dead, Orin, and Gortash. Crazy, this game actually has plot and isn't a murder hobo simulator. Who would have thought? I am all for not letting the Emperor have his way, but I'm not going to give Raphael his way either. So I tell Raphael to suck it, and I'll be seeing him again real soon. Heading back into the brothel, we update Valeria on the murder mystery. Valeria really doesn't give a shit and tells us to get more info, and we are gonna do our best begrudgingly. We head back upstairs to the Stars locked room and barge in on the two seductresses at work. Oops, not a seductress. She's an Illithid, and now there's only one seductress in there. Sorry, honey. I already have a mommy. Brothel complete for now, we continue on to the Danthalon's dancing axe with Jaheira in tow this time to meet up with the Harpers. Just kidding, it's a trap and they are ghouls. High Harper quest updated. We head over to the inn and enter the hidden room on the second floor and find the assassination log. Mystery murder quest updated. Fuck you, Valeria. Quest complete. With that complete, we follow where Wolburn's people ran off to and find the Iron Hand hideout. Wolburn is possibly more crazy than I am, which is really saying something at this point, but we have the same goals, so I will gladly help him take down the Steel Watch Foundry with the help of a rune powder explosive. And it's not even my birthday. With everything in Rivington complete for now, we use the pass we got from the homeowner to enter the lower city by crossing the bridge lawfully, where Missoura awaits us to update Will's quest. In hindsight, I should have grabbed Will at this point and taken care of the Gortash cutscene, but I'll do that later instead. Once in the lower cities, I make my way through each of the merchants buying anything that catches my fancy before entering Sorcerer's Sundries, where, shocker, Roland is in another bind. We head up through the far left portal to Lorroakin, who is trying desperately to meet the Night Song. Despite my warning that this was biting off way more than he can chew, Lorroakin insists that I bring her here immediately so that he can subdue her and steal her powers, similar to Ketherick. I personally am more than happy to oblige Dame in some fun murders, so I go let her know his desires and we agree to give him exactly what he wants. We stroll in, kick his ass, Dame snaps his back in two a la Bane from Dark Knight Rises, and Roland is now not only free, but the new owner of the Sorcerer's Sundries. Talk about undeserved promotions. Now comes the fun part. This building is chock full of secrets, and it takes me roughly an hour to loot everything in here, including the genie bottle, the final reading of the Necromancy of Thay, and all of the hidden passages down below. A long rest here brings a nice, wonderful date with Karlach. All is well in the world. Then I have to talk with Gale about his future. Karlach and Gale quest updated. Fuck you, Gale, for ruining this. Our team rested and ready. We head down to the southeast to the fireworks shop the stupid homeowner told me about, and I find a bunch of Fists of Bane under Gortash. I'm going to call them Fisters here, working with the fire shop. I fist the Fisters and think I've completed the Explosive Toys quest when a random child walks into the fireworks shop and alerts the guards outside. Okay, no big deal. A few normal fists come in here and they get fisted by proxy. Problem solved, right? A fucking Steel Watcher comes up the stairs, then presumably every last fister in the city enters the fray for the fisting. This fight took well over 45 minutes, simply for the fact that there were so many people walking up a 2-space wide staircase to their death. Level 11 acquired, and my sanity gone. The amount of bags remaining after I rested was insanely funny to see, as they were all bunched into like 3 areas I kept killing people at. For all my trouble, I decided to also take all the fireworks, because it's funny to me. Continuing southeast from here, we meet a talking zombie named Thrombo, who claims he was created by a necromancer named Carrion, who must be stopped. Little does he know that I am the Colonel, Stop Lord, Lord of all Stoppers, patent pending. We break into Carrion's house and beat him over the head. Carrion quest started, I guess? Weird. I'll deal with that when I go down to the sewers, I guess. Moving far southwest towards the Steel Watch Foundry, we find fucking Volo, of all people, being burned at the stake, metaphorically, and exploded on the train tracks, literally. Wait, did I just say exploded? Mine. I'm so glad I saved you, sweeties. And I guess you too, Volo. No, fuck off. We enter the foundry and save some gnomes being fucked with by evildoers, then meet Xanner, who tells us we can't go further in or they will kill all of the innocent family members they're holding hostage. Me, finally remembering I'm the hero of this story, decides we must save them, and we make our way back to the bridge with Will in tow to have the cutscene with his brainwashed father. Will quest updated, fuck you Missoura, he's mine. You can't have him, nee. We make murder gestures at Gortash, then continue to the other side of the bay, where we tell some dogs what good boys they are, and give them boops on the snoot before taking the submarine down to the underwater prison. This is a pretty tough prison break, as your time is limited and you have to protect the prisoners as they run, but we manage to save Duke Ravengard, Omaloon, and all but one prisoner who dies valiantly for the cause. Never forget, Random NPC 2023. With Duke Ravengard free, Will and his father are reunited, and the Duke tells us we must head to the core of the Wormrock prison to release a great being named Answer. Will companion quest updated. We sell out the slave courier who brought us to the prison to the flood tide people at the end of the port because it's funny, then we run back to Xanner, who says, "You did what?" then agrees to join us in the cause of stopping the Foundry. Level 12 acquired. Max level, baby, let's go! We push into the depths of the Foundry and murder everyone I find. It just felt natural. Then kill the Boss Watcher to let Xander remote disable the Steel Watchers across the city. Fuck you, Gortash. Note that we didn't use the Rune Powder explosive again. We're stocking up for the future. Wolverine is somehow not happy at us accomplishing our joint goal because he wants more blood, and suddenly that is too far for me. I know, I'm shocked too. Fuck you, Wolverine. Xander lives. Quest complete. We're really mowing through endgame quests at this point, so we head to the broken down house where the hag's victims are and find out about a poison to make her throw up. Then we head to the bar and hit the owner over the top of the head. Again, it just felt right. Turns out she is the hag. Go figure. We flee the fight down into the hag's lair just like before, and we kick her ass again, this time making her throw up the child she supposedly kidnapped before murdering her. Hopefully for good. We stop by the mother and child later, and she is happy but definitely has no clue who I am, because I forgot to talk to her before the hag. Fuck. Quest complete, even though there was no quest. My bad. We then head back up to the northeast of town and enter the Elf Song Tower, and find out about a mysterious murder. Baldur quest begins. We get a list of people that seems to be possible targets, then head into the basement per the Emperor's orders. We ambush the ambushing Githyanki, then find the not-so-secret passage into the Emperor's secret hideout, where we get a bunch of dialogue with him reminiscing, which is boring, and a bunch of really solid loot, which is not so boring. We head west to Figaro, the future victim of Baal, who boldly tells us he'll be just fine without us. Okay, sure, whatever you say, bud. Now, after we leave future victim number 1, we are going to go ahead and go to the next person on the list, Alexander, who was already dead by the time we arrive. We follow the trail to victim number 3, who we find mere moments before death. Cora is about to be killed, and we step in to stop the murderer Meshli, who vanishes off into the night towards a new victim, and you'll never guess who it is. Back to Figaro, we find him about to be murdered just like Cora, but we're just slightly too late this time. Oh, darn. Guess you did need me, huh? Oh well. Metzli dead, Figaro dead, Bal murder quest complete. A quick long rest finds us being courted by the Emperor. But I am a taken man now, how dare you? I have all I could ever need with hot stuff over there, now good day. We head from here into Baldur's Mouth, pause, the daily news for the city, who are attempting to paint me in a negative light, so I proceed to paint them across the wall. Then put my own story out for the world to enjoy. Again, everyone, hero! Make me the mayor! We take a quick pit stop at the Stormshore Tabernacle with Gale to have a meeting with Mystra. Gale companion quest complete. And now it's time to backtrack to the Wormrock Bridge and jump off the side. All of my enemies rejoice. Then boo as I live. Then we continue into a hidden entrance into the Wormrock Prison. We free Floric again. This bitch is as useless as Roland, I swear. Then use a secret passage into the legendary Baldur's hidden chambers. Pause. Where we must complete a series of really cool puzzles and challenges before coming face to face with the skeletal remains of Ansur, the dragon companion of Baldur himself. Plot twist, Ansur is still alive and recognizes the energy of Baldur himself, but not inside me, inside the artifact as the Emperor, formerly Baldur, tries to reason with Ansur on our behalf. Ansur wants nothing to do with us, so I do what any great warrior would. I use some of my explosive horde to blow a massive fuck you hole in his health pool, then finish him off the next turn. Crate being my ass. We return to camp and give Will the bad news. He talks with his pops and resolves their conflict. Will continue to be the Blade of Frontiers to fight for justice for all. Will companion quest complete. Now over to the House of Grief. It's high time we fucked up the Sharans for what they did to Shadowheart. Just kidding, this fight was another of my top 5 worst fights in the game, and it legitimately took me 10 attempts just to survive with one person, let alone the whole squad. But we managed to do it with everyone alive, thank the Lord, and we continue down to Shadowheart's parents, who all agree and beg Shadowheart to let them move on. They've been through enough. Shadowheart agrees and decides to move forward living her own life. Way to go, Shadowheart. Shadowheart companion quest complete. We also attempt to use the mirror here to get some extra stats with no save scumming. Isn't that awesome? I fail miserably. Fuck you, mirror. No buffs for me. Leaving this place, we do a pit stop to check in on Oscar. You know Oscar, right? The starving artist we saved back in the Zentarum hideout in part 2? Yeah, him. Pulling from the bottom of the barrel here, he's become possessive after marrying well above his weight. And somehow I hit this man with a non-lethal strike, and it still killed him. Make it make sense. Quest complete. Moving on. We head down south to the counting house, where we find out the Storm Lord is down below the vault. We bring Jaheira with us, who has a background with the man, and we find this monster of a human beating his way out of a mimic, cock first like the god he is. Meet Minsk. Minsk is being controlled by Orin, shapeshifted as Jaheira, and we're going to have to chase them down into the sewers. But first, I will lockpick every difficult lock in this vault. Any guesses on how many thieves' tools I will go through? I've stocked up on 100 throughout the playthrough just for this room. 3. I wasted 3. And unlocked every lock in the counting house. God, Cat's Grace is broken, and I wasted my fucking time. Moving on. Drop off Jaheira, pick up Asterion, and we're off to the Palace of Khazad to fuck up the man who did this to my little angel. We murder everyone in our path on our way down to the depth of the palace dungeon, where we find all 1,000 of the victims of Khazador's spawns locked in cages. We continue further down and deal with an extremely difficult fight with Khazador that ends with Asterion getting his revenge and choosing the path of good, freeing the victims of Khazador to choose their own path forward. The vampire hunters somehow agree with this and say they'll help me in the future, so, I'll take it as a win. Asterion companion quest complete. Next, we're back to the core group heading into the Devil's Fee, where we steal from, then murder Helsik, just for fun, then enter the portal into the House of Hope with all of my little toys in tow. I have plans for you, Raphael, you son of a bitch. We meet up with Hope, who is way too caffeinated up for my liking, but I'll do my best to help her out. We sneak in the house, stealthily murdering Harlip, sexy Raphael if you will, then get the password to unlock the barrier protecting the Orphic Hammer. We make our way over and steal the hammer, as well as the gauntlets of Hill Giant Strength and the amulet of Greater Health. All 3 are amazing items for the endgame. This triggers an alarm system, sending Raphael running back here even though he can seemingly teleport at will, and we must escape his defense system. Shocker, his defense systems suck, and are defeated by a simple door. Get fucked, Raphael. Once clear of the defenses, we head to the opposite side of the house and free Hope, who is again just 3 stages too uppity for my liking, but we can make do for now. We head for the escape, and Raphael appears alongside Yurgir and Hope's sister Corilla, who are all complete cunts, and I'm thoroughly over everyone's shit. I give Yurgir one more chance to live, and he chooses to die fighting, which I can appreciate. And the fireworks begin. Burn, Raphael. Burn, baby. Wait, what? Oh God. Oh, no. Ugh. Jesus. Yeah, turns out Raphael's resistances protected him from most of the blast. But with some quick thinking and 11 herbs and spices, we are able to just barely squeak out the win. But Hope unfortunately does perish in the explosion. Let it be known, I did try to fling her out of the room in an attempt to save her. I tried. Raphael dead, quest complete, Orphic Hammer obtained. We are now in the endgame. We head for the Murder Tribunal and find Savarok Onchev, the main antagonist of the very first Baldur's Gate game, waiting to judge us for our efforts to become the next chosen of Baal. And he's pretty disappointed. He expected us to pick up where that slouch Metzli left off, and he even tells us his daughter Orin, that same fucking Orin, is currently next in line after she tried to whack us, leading to the events of this game happening to begin with. Womp womp. I get sick of listening to Savarok talk, and I decide to just murder him for his dope helmet, then free Valeria in the neighboring room, who is just as over this shit as I am. We also stat changed Karlach at this point to make her a bit tankier for the endgame fights before heading up to Gortash's tower. The fight is very anticlimactic for how well defended he attempted to be, and Karlach is really shaken up at the death of her former employer. We give her a night to cool off. Pun intended. Karlach companion quest complete. With everything done here, we head into the sewers, meet the Nine Fingers gang, who are alright in my book, as well as Mole, who is very distraught to find out Raphael is dead. Sorry, not sorry, Mole. You're welcome, we did save you. We continue deeper into the sewers in chase of Minsk and that whore Orin with Jaheira in our group, and catch them working with what remains of the Zentarum group. I finish what I started back in part 2 while keeping Minsk alive so that Jaheira can talk some sense into him. With Orin scared off, Minsk joins our party as the final member of the camp, and subsequently completes Jaheira's companion quest. We also meet back up with Voss, who begs us to use the Orphic Hammer, and I'm really starting to agree with him and Lae'zel. He also gives Lae'zel her best weapon at this point, thank you very much. Voss and Lae'zel quests updated. I turned in the money taken from the vault, by the way. I know you assumed I just kept it, but I'm not a brokey, okay? I'm kind of loaded at this point.
My condo $4,800 a month. You not moving like me.
Also, quest complete. Since I'm in the mood for clearing out all the quests at this point as well, I head back to Carrion's place, kill him a second time after he tells us he went and killed Thrumbo, and then I head down into his basement, pause, and destroy his brain for good. Quest complete. We finally head into the Ballis Temple to hunt down Orin, dispatch of her shitty ambush at the front, and then agree to her stupid duel for the fate of Baal's chosen. Orin's in for a rude awakening though, because we don't fight fair. This is not a one-on-one duel. With all 4 of us ganging up on her, we take her down swiftly. With Orin dead, our minion shows himself before being brutally murdered by and used to communicate through by Baal himself, tempting us to take our space as their spawn. A different colonel, on a different day, might have agreed to be the spawn of Baal, but not this one. I am a changed fast food worker, and I am for the people. I urge no longer. My Dark Urge quest is complete. With Orin dead and the 3 Netherstones obtained, we have completed nearly every quest I found, barring the Emerald Grove Idol quest, bringing Nir's head, and saving the child from the hag, which I'd argue I did 2 of the 3, but fine. We push through the Baal Temple to the pier, which leads us to confront the Elder Brain. But this confrontation fails, and the Elder Brain threatens to take over the world and us before the Emperor pulls us into the artifact for protection. Inside the artifact, we are given a major choice here. Kill the Githyanki prince and side with the Emperor, or free the prince and force the Emperor to join the Elder Brain. The answer is too obvious for me. Death to the tentacles! We free Orpheus, like Voss and Lae'zel wanted, and agree to help him fight the Elder Brain. Lae'zel companion quest complete. But we now run into a problem. To beat the Elder Brain, we need someone to become a full Illithid, and while Karlach offers to sacrifice herself since she thinks she's already dead, I just can't let my boo do that. So, the Colonel will take the ultimate sacrifice and become the tentacles he once sought to destroy. With Orpheus on our side, we meet up with Voss, and he's shocked we agreed to side with him, and honestly, so am I. Quest complete. We then meet all of the allies we have amassed in our time in Baldur's Gate, including this knight that I've never seen in my life, give a rousing final speech that really doesn't hit like I hoped, then push out to greet the Elder Brain's forces head on. The large courtyard fight that follows this really isn't that hard, but is really long and tedious, so by the time I finish it, I am just over these fights. And just fly past the next one to reach the final area. We take a moment to rest everyone up, pop any potions, poisons, and buffs we can, then we scale the tentacle to the final fight of the game. The Elder Brain awaits us inside a portal protected by several Illithids and the Emperor himself riding a red dragon, bringing along several Dream Guardians for us to fight as well. It all comes down to this. One final fight A test of might and willpower between the strongest fighter of today versus the strongest fighter in history. Jujutsu Kaisen jokes aside, you knew what I was gonna do, let's be honest. You always knew what this fight was gonna be. I blew the Emperor and the Dragon to the moon to join Krell and Minthara and made my way to the portal. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows here. I failed to get Karlach into the portal in time, and she gets stuck in a down loop that I just don't have the rounds available to save her in. It is with great sadness that I must leave Karlach unconscious to finish off the Elder Brain. The Brain offers us one final time to join them and rule the world, but I'm too focused on Karlach to ever make that choice, and the Brain goes down. The day is saved, Baldur's Gate is protected, and everyone is alive, including Karlach. But I'm really not super happy with how things turned out. I'm going through the final dialogue options, and I get asked what the Colonel will do now, and I see an option for him to end himself. Honestly, this choice makes a lot of sense and falls directly in line with what the Colonel would do. But it turns out this choice is a Dark Urge choice still. This death is not clean and ruins not only my ending, but Karlach's ending, as no one is there to save her from burning up. This ending isn't right, and I refuse to accept it as it is. We reload the save one more time before the final fight. We blow the Emperor the fuck up and make sure everyone gets into the portal safely. We tell the Nether Brain to shove it up its ass and come back for a better fight next time, and the day is saved. We tell Lae'zel to join Orpheus in the fight against Vlaakith to free the Githyanki. We watch Astarion run off into the shadows and find a new life for himself. We tell Gale to give up on the hunt for the crown of Karsus and to live a life of contentment. We leave Shadow to her own vices, which is rather lackluster in my opinion, but she wasn't my focus this playthrough, so it's fine. And Will, myself, and Karlach enter the portal to Avernus to keep Karlach alive and fight the evils of the plane together. And this brings an end to our playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. This playthrough took roughly a month to complete, and the editing, script writing, and narration took another 2 months, which was extremely daunting for my first major video. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed my style of commentary, and I want to hear your thoughts. Please tell me what I did well and not so well, and what you wanted to see differently in the comments. I genuinely care. I also want to give thanks to Jack, my brother, best friend, and editor, alongside Furley, Beck, and Irene, who were all big influences on me pushing forward to complete this video. I truly can't thank you all enough, and I hope you guys are there to help me in the future. I want to do another of these, and I'm thinking the next playthrough will be Persona 5 Royal. But what do you think? I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and until next time, you stay classy, San Diego.